Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's almost time for Snatchoween, so it's going to be a spooky look today, okay? I'm going to be trying to do more spooky looks now. I really miss doing spooky looks. And today we're going to be talking about witches, okay? Witches in pop culture and why they're so entwined with the LGBT sensibility, all right? You know, Jinx Monsoon does identify as a witch, and I'm sure a lot of other drag queens also kind of like, have this witchy sensibility to them. And witches are basically drag queens, right? Okay, so if you want to see how I turn into a black and white witch, and maybe at the end I'll see whether I can do a quick greenify change, okay, practicing for something coming up. So stick around, smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, got everything prepped, and I've got my red lenses in, okay? Snatchoween means red lenses. And today I think I will be trying a whole bunch of new makeup products. Okay, I haven't really been buying a lot of makeup because I have way too much, but I always wanted to try some of these. Okay, so for one, the House Labs, I ordered this online and it's a perfect match for me. And apparently this is really good. So let's see how this layers on top of the rest of my routine. And of course the Alice Atlantis palette, okay? Beautiful neutrals palette. And the shimmers as well. Okay, so we're going to be trying all that today. And yeah, so let's just get started. All right, so witches. Yeah, witches have been really a bit of a resurgence in pop culture recently, okay, the last few years. And as I mentioned, witches are extremely queer-coded, okay? So over-dramatic costumes, dramatic makeup, okay? And the whole idea of powerful women, right? Witches used to be demonized back in the day, okay, burned at the stake. They were all prosecuted. They were basically being accused of bewitching people, doing witchcraft. Most of the people who were burned for witches or persecuted were women who had a bit too much agency, or men who had too feminine features. So apparently, gay men or maybe trans women at the time were accused of being witches and burnt because of their difference. And of course, all this has evolved, so societal fears and strives usually morphs into some sort of horror imagery, and that's how the witch was born, okay? So in pop culture, witches these days have ranged from, friendly witches, like Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, and Bewitched, and Elizabeth Montgomery in Bewitched, to more sinister witches, okay? Of course, in a lot of fairy tales and in other horror movies like, The Vivitch, which was a horror movie that was really, really hot a few years ago. So I actually used this House Labs one for my last show, which was Qabaret Does Disneyland, and it was really nice. It had a bit of a glowy texture, okay? And as you can see, it is... Okay, if you just ignore the 5W Kryolan, you can see this is actually a perfect match for my skin. Okay, and I'm not using my Derma Blend or anything else today, just the Kryolan, okay? I think I can't do without a little bit of Kryolan as a base, because that really gives you that flawless finish. But as you can see, this blends really fabulously into it. Okay, House Labs. Yeah, I think after Coachella, I have become a much more of a Gaga fan, which was the goal for Coachella. I wanted to, give myself a little bit more range when I do my performances next time. And that Gaga was really good. Anyway, is Gaga a witch? Yeah, so some musicians do identify as witches, or people have thrust the image of witch upon them. For example, people like Joni Mitchell. Even Madonna had some witchy imagery when she was in her Kabbalah era, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, see? So it is a bit very glowy, but of course all this is toned down after you powder. Okay, keeping with my red. Now with the rise of Wicked, witches have definitely come back into pop culture. And Jinx Monsoon has been going on a lot of interviews proclaiming her witchiness. The whole idea of a witch, the distorted view of a witch being, this evil woman who goes and eats kids and stuff like that, that's basically a demonized version of what people are afraid of. Okay, it's the same, okay? Like, now how much conservatives hate liberals and they're just calling them all and child traffickers and stuff like that. That's how these kind of distorted images of, powerful women or people who are just a little bit different get distorted over time. Okay, so I think the rest of my contouring and everything is pretty much the same. Okay, I'm going to be doing all this powdering and I'll be right back to do the eyes. I've done the base, had my cream blush there. The brow is much bolder, okay, and it's very draggy today to go for a very witchy look, okay? And I'm just gonna go in and map out the eyes now, all right? Let's use the Alice Atlantis. So it's gonna be all black and whitish today, so I'm just gonna use the blacks and the grays here. I'm gonna go in with a darker gray called Marbled. And I think I would use this smaller brush today, just to map out the crease. The whole other thing about witches is that they form covens. Okay, we saw this in The Craft, American Horror Story Coven, and most lately, of course, Agatha All Along. Okay, and covens are, of course, basically chosen family, which is very, very queer coded. Okay, swooping it out a little bit, directing it towards the tail of the brow. Blend that out a little bit. Going in with the lighter artifact, maybe slate. I'm gonna use it to blend it out a little bit. Wow, look at that blend. It's blend bunny for you. Okay, and now going into the tighter pencil brush, I'm using the black called Obsidian. This should be a really good black, knowing Alice Atlantis. It's going to deepen up. Okay, and I'm going back and blending that out. And now, yeah, the word coven has been used to, describe a unit of gay friends. It's been a pretty apt way to, unite people who have been disenfranchised. I'm going to use my micellar water now to cut the crease. And now, of course, you can access quite a lot of witchy content also on TikTok, on Witch Talk, okay, where people do a lot of astrology readings, tarot, stuff like that, light hexes. So just cutting the front part there. Okay, I'm just making it really pulled out today. Okay, I'm just going to put some concealer there and maybe do a liner, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've went and done a bit of a bat wing eye, see? So really quite intense. Okay, and now I'm just going to go in the under eye. Okay, extending my inner corner there. I think I'm going to steal a little bit from Lydia Butthole Collins, okay, and try to do a little bit of a red waterline and see how that looks. Using the white from this goth palette. Okay, for the red, I'm going to use the other Alice Atlantis palette, which I've been holding out for a very long time and I finally got it. Okay, I'm going to use the red here, Perception, just to go underneath that white. Okay, so instead of black, I'm using red here. Oh, that's very intense. Okay, and go into the waterline a little bit. I don't think I have any red gel liners. And then going in black on the outside of that to line the eye properly. Giving me a little bit of a cartoony look too. Okay, and I'm using black to fill in the brows as well. Okay, I'm going to do that on the other side now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so filled everything in, and now I'm going in with my Forget Me Not Blend Bunny palette. This is actually quite a neutral colors. Looks pretty, looks like the inspo to this palette. But today, instead of bronzing up, okay, I'm actually going to go in with more grayish contour to give myself that more of a, butchy look. So I'm not going to bronze myself too much. I'm going to use the grayish colors here. I'm going to go in with Together first. Okay, there's already some bronzer on this brush, so I'm just going to layer it up. Okay, give myself a bit of a more sallow cheek. Okay, so just contour. So there are going to be quite a number of other witchy properties coming up. I think they're remaking Practical Magic, which is a really iconic show about witches. Okay, that should be really exciting. One of my favorite musicals that I grew up really listening to was the Witches of Eastwick musical. That's one musical that I really love the music from. It's really quite fun too. Okay, so now that base is done, I'm going to go into a bit of a darker one called Here and Now. Okay, this is a really dark grey contour. I'm just going to use that to snatch it a little bit. And that makes it really quite intense. Let's blend it out. And of course, Wicked Part 2 for good is coming. I think everyone's going to be really crazy. All the Alphabet and Glinda cosplay is going to come back out soon again. Okay, I'm going to sharpen this tail, this wing. Nose contour. Same grayish nose contour. Which is really different for me. I'm going to use a little bit of Picture Perfect. Just give it a bit of a warmth. And of course, there's Scarlet Witch coming on. I think the new Vision Quest is going to have some Scarlet Witch, and of course Wiccan, her kid, they're going to have their own show. Yeah, and even Marvel getting a bit witchy. In the latest Ironheart, there was one of her friends is a witch. Magic, and then Doctor Strange and all that mystical side of Marvel. Okay, I'm just going to add some blush and lip, and I think I'll be right back with the finished look. Okay, I'm going to try to do a second look where I greenify myself. Let's see whether that works. Alright, I'm back, and I'm in this black and white look. Okay, it took a lot longer to get into this all by myself. Okay, the nails and everything, I had to rejigger the choker and everything, but you know, I'm in this really sexy, witchy black and white look, very Lydia B. Collins. Okay, I don't think I have time to do the greenifying myself today. Okay, I have some other things to do, but I really love this hair, okay, and this outfit. And yes, that's my video about witchiness and drag. Okay, well, stay tuned. There might be a Qabaret coming up soon. It might be witch themed. All right, so yes, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Is very Lydia B. Collins, right? She has this kind of hair and the red look and it is very witchy. Alright, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos where I turn into QB, okay? And of course, my most recent Qabaret Does Disneyland. I think it's a really good show. Alright, see ya.